Hi and welcome to the last part of this video. The last key that I want to talk about is drawing verbs. Now what is that? Now since we're talking about gesture drawing, the goal is really to capture the action of the figure. So whenever I'm drawing, I'm using line to communicate action. So I'm not thinking in terms of drawing a leg or drawing a head or proportions and that kind of stuff. I'm really thinking about what the action is and using line. Uh, I am putting down the lines that actually communicate that action, that communicate what is happening. So let me actually show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see, let me turn the opacity of this. Yeah, put a little lower opacity so I can draw over it. So as you can see, I have a gesture of consisting of multiple figures here, which is actually really fun to draw. It's something that I have not done lately. Definitely something that I should go back to, because it's, as I said, it's really fun to draw these multiple figure actions. But in looking at this pose, for example, which consists of three figures, as you can see, I started, of course, with this girl at the bottom, since she is supporting uh, the other two girls. So the first thing I saw was the enormous amount of energy that is that she has in her torso. This is really pushing up, like this. Goes up. Okay, then I go around, refine the torso a little bit, add some structure at the hips. So this is our first and major curve of rhythm here at the front of her torso, and this is picked up by the leg. So we have one curve here, we have another curve, and your legs are really forming a strong foundation to support the other two girls. If you look at the abstract shape of her legs, you really can see something like this. There's this very simple shape that is forming a foundation on which uh, all this weight that is on top here is supported. Okay, so she's really stretching her torso. We go to her shoulders, stretching her arms here. She's holding this girl right there. Same on the other side. Okay, I mean, looking at this girl, you can see that there is a lot of tension in her body, especially at the back here. I mean, although you can clearly see the rhythms through her pose, there is also a lot of tension because I think if she makes the wrong move, on the girl on top would fall. So there is a certain stiffness in her pose, and I put effort into capturing that while I was drawing her. And then looking back at the drawing right now, I can clearly feel all the tension that is in her body. Let's refine the torso a little bit here. I just drew a very simple curve there for her arm and hand. Since it was so foreshortened, you could barely see it. Okay, have the back here, head sticking out, ear, eye line. Okay, so now we're looking at this girl. The funny thing is what she is doing with her arms is similar to what this girl at the bottom is doing with her legs. So again, you can find this very simple shape, which is forming a basis of support for her weight. and you have her torso, and you can really feel how she's pushing and bending her hip area back. Put some lines there just to communicate a bit of volume. She's really pushing her hip as much as possible towards her ribcage area, because if she were to if she were to let her weight hang on this side, for example like this, then that means she would need very strong arms. She would need a lot of strength in her arms in order to be able to support all this weight that is hanging on this side, uh, just with her arms. So I think that's the reason why she is attempting to shift as much as of her weight as possible above this, on top of this basis of support that she is creating with her hands right here. She's also uh, spreading her legs and moving them more in this direction towards her rib cage area again. So that makes it easier for her to be able to support her own weight. Alright, so let's look at the second one here. The first thing that I noticed when looking at this pose is the all the amount of energy and stretch that this figure has in her body. So there's a really strong uh, stretch at the front of her torso right there. Go around, complete the torso again, and this movement is picked up by the back. Go all the way around here. We have a curve right there. It goes on top of the thigh, and notice that the curve is not at the back of her leg. If I were to draw it this way, it would look odd, because this is not how the leg is functioning during to perform this action. So the curve would need to be at the front like this. Then it's picked up by the heel. Go over on top of the foot. Can put a straight here for support, straight here, and of course there's no such thing as a perfect straight on a human body. It's just a basis. It just gives me a basis to design uh, the shapes of the muscles on top. Okay, I could come back and start refining the anatomy like this, and sculpt a bit more of the muscle right there at the back of her leg, within the hips for support. When I'm drawing the hips, I'm saying that I'm drawing hips, but actually I'm thinking, okay, this is coming here, that is going over, it's going around this area, this goes around. So I'm always really thinking in terms of verbs of action. I'm thinking in terms of what is really happening. Okay, so this goes around at the back, goes on top of the your left leg right there, and here the curve is at the back of the leg. So we would have a curve right there, go to the front of the leg, the heel, put in a straight right there for support, and notice the clear stretch and all the tension that is happening here with her arms. There's a very clear stretch. She's holding on this girl's leg, and the same is happening on the other side. The curve would be at the bottom right there, so we wouldn't see much of it. The curve then and goes around, holding right there, put a straight right there for support, for structure. Okay, and this curve here is picked up by the back at the back of her head, right there. Then I put the straight on the other side, go around, then the nose, draw in her hair right there. And looking at this girl, she is supporting herself on the legs of the other girl right there. So this is an important event in the pose, since she is pushing, is supporting herself right here. There is a lot of energy uh, pushing right here on her shoulder. Okay, so her arm would be pushing her shoulder out like this. Goes back over to the shoulder blades there, the scapula. The same would be true on the other side. I really feel the push, and the tension that is happening in the shoulder right there. And she's also, she has a very strong stretch from her back to her leg, right there. So this is one long and big curve. Notice that I'm not focusing on all the bumps and details of the anatomy yet at this point. That's for later on. As I said, my first concern is to draw lines that communicate the action. So I draw a big and long curve right here. Then it's picked up by the front or the top of her thigh right there. It goes to the back of her calf, top of the foot, with her foot sticking out right there. Can add a straight there. Would be some pinching here of the skin, I think. This leg, I would think about the position of the hips in order to help me uh, connect the leg properly to the torso. Otherwise, I risk uh, drawing it out of joint, and it would just look odd. Okay, so I have this leg is stretching out, going in space. I made it slightly smaller compared to this one, just to give a better feeling of depth. Okay, complete the torso here. This goes over the center line, going around. Just a slight bend in her neck. Drawing the head, the hair right there. Drawing a bit of her trapezius muscles going over. Okay. The major point of support for this girl is right here. So if I remember correctly, I actually started by drawing this supporting arm and hand. Go over. I think she was holding on to the foot of this girl actually. Over shoulder right there. This is bending this side, and her hip area was bending the other side, like that. Going around where the legs attach. This leg is coming towards us. Go around, give a little sense of volume right there. Draw the overlaps. Of course, this is just really quick. We could, if we want to, we could spend more time refining the structure and getting the volume of the leg to read properly. Okay, so I think again, where are the hips? Because if I know where the hips are, I can attach the leg properly. So again, that they don't look out of joint and out of place. Okay, so we have a curve here. This leg stretching, and this arm is really it's a really strong stretch like this. Shoulder goes over. See a bit of the lats right there, most probably. And her head was barely visible, I think. It was something like this. Photoshop is behaving strangely like that. Okay, it's working again. I think her head was somewhere there. I just drew a simple curve to indicate the head. And again, this is just a quick gesture drawing, so you can spend time refining it if you want to, or if this was a drawing that you want to take further to make tighter, you can just do another pass and start refining the volume on top. But really the point I wanted to bring across is to think in terms of verbs. For example, I have a very simple curve here at the front of the torso. Now I could come back and say, okay, let me start defining the rib cage on top. So this goes over, goes around like this. Maybe this sticks out a bit more. You have the ab muscles right there. Goes toward the crotch. Hips go around. Legs attach right there. Put in the clavicles. Wrap around. Arm sticking out of the shoulder muscles right there. Come in, start locking in the breasts on top. And it's stretching. I'm thinking again. I'm mentioning the parts, but when I'm drawing the parts, I'm not really thinking about the parts. I'm thinking about what the parts are doing. So I'm thinking, okay, this is coming here, stretching, goes over, then there's a stretch again, it connects right there. Then you would have the lats, also something like this. You would have the head sticking out. Her head is tilted up slightly, going around front of the head right there. Alright, so hopefully you have enjoyed the series of videos, and I hope that these 3 keys will help you to improve on your gesture drawings. I remember that this is something that you have to practice. I didn't learn all this stuff overnight, so be patient with yourself, and just keep going over these keys over and over again, and attempt to apply them to your drawings. When you draw, think about what is happening, think in terms of action, and analyze and understand why you're seeing what you're seeing, instead of being concerned with measuring and drawing the right proportions and that kind of stuff, all of which is important. But to me, all those aspects of drawing have to submit themselves to capturing the action when I do the gesture drawings. So if you like this series of videos, please leave a like and subscribe, because there is definitely more good stuff coming on later on. Alright, so see you later guys. Bye bye.